Hi everybody, Stephen Aitchison here with another YDF live show. My name is Stephen Aitchison, creator of YourDigitalFormula.com, a program to help you live your passion, grow your tribe and build your business. Now today we have the very first YDF Star, and what the YDF Star is for members who have joined the Your Digital Formula program, and it's kind of interviewing people who have done extremely well kind of with the program and with their own business in their own right as well. And I got a chance to interview Barry Davenport from LiveBoldAndBloom.com, and I've known Barry for about 7 years or so, and I've just finished kind of editing the interview and I'm putting it up for everybody to see today, and this is going to be a brilliant kind of case study for you as well. And Barry kind of joined the program, the YDF program, about 18 months ago, and she's done amazingly well since then. And she's a best-selling author, written 14 books, but I'll give you kind of an introduction with the video as well. And Kathy Baker is in the house as well, another YDF member, saying hi Stephen, sounds awesome. This is going to be a brilliant interview. Well, it is a brilliant interview and you're going to love the information in it. And it shows you kind of how Barry's used a kind of Facebook page and social media to kind of grow her business, but she's expanded that so much more in her own right as well with Steve Scott and Ron Clenenden. So you're going to learn about that. So Phoenix, woohoo, hello. So there's a lot of people, a lot of YDF members in watching this, which is brilliant. Just see if anybody else is in before we go over to the video. Now the video lasts about an hour, the video interview lasts about an hour or so. But honestly, it's just an amazing interview. You're going to love it. Hi everyone, welcome to the very first YDF Star. I've got a very special guest on, Barry Davenport, who I've known for about 6 years now. We first joined kind of A-list blogging together, and we've kind of grown up from the ranks from there. And Barry is in the YDF program, and she joined, was it just last year?
Yes, it was, well, 2015.
2015. So you've been in just kind of over a year just now, which is brilliant. So the reason I want to kind of highlight Barry and do as a YDF Star, the very first YDF Star, is because she's doing so well with her business, and she's got a mix, kind of like myself as well, she's got a mix of kind of personal development and business products. So just to give you an introduction to Barry, Barry is a best-selling author and she now has published 14 books. She's also got personal development courses, and she's got a business course about self-publishing with Steve Scott as well. And I kind of met her when she had Live Bold and Bloom, the blog. So she's been blogging for around 7 years now, since 2010. And she's got another kind of website, barrydavenport.com as well. And she's also a coach, a mother as well. So she does heaps of stuff. And she's really, really busy. So welcome to the very first YDF Star, Barry.
Thank you. I am honored to be the first person. I don't know how I merited that that acclaim, but I'm happy to be the one.
Well, I'll tell you what it was. It was because of your post. Because I put a post in the kind of YDF tribe, the page, about YDF Star, and then I seen your post and I thought, ideal, so it was just perfect timing.
Good.
So I've written to a few other people as well, but I thought, because I know you so well and because we've been friends for a while now, I thought you'd be ideal for this. Yes. So can you give us then, just to start with, a little bit of your background, kind of where you started and why you kind of done this, and then we'll talk about more kind of about passion, because that's my big thing as well, and I'd like to talk about passion, particularly with business as well. But if you tell us where you started, kind of first of all.
Well, this will go full circle because passion is really the way I got started. I was about to lose my first child to go off. She was a ballet dancer, striving ballet dancer. She was about to leave. I'd been spending all my time with her, helping her to train and traveling back and forth 60 miles round trip every day to take her to her studio. And then she went off and did her thing. And I was left with all this time. I did have 2 other children, but I'd spent a lot of time with this one and I had more time to work on my career. And I was in public relations for years before that time. And I just couldn't go back to it. So I spent time searching for what my passion was, because public relations sort of lost its pizzazz for me. And I decided, after a lot of study and sort of self-discovery work and taking assessments and doing all the things people do to try to figure out what they're passionate about, I decided to go to coaching school. And I got my certification as a coach. I started blogging as a way to market my coaching business, discovered how much I love blogging and writing and helping people that way. Yeah. You and I started taking the A-List blogging course together. I saw you could actually make money from blogging. Woo, that was exciting. You could do this thing online and make some money. And it just was super intriguing to me. And I felt the way you described when I heard you yesterday in a Facebook Live that I can't wait to get up in the morning. I can't wait to do this stuff. It's like I'm playing, but I'm getting some money for it. So that's how I got into it. And, I sort of stumbled my way blindly along for the first few years because I really didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. In fact, I didn't even know what URL meant when I first started. So that's my embarrassing revelation of the day.
So you kind of started out, you were kind of looking for your passion, but you didn't really know what your passion was. You had to kind of discover. What was the process of kind of discovering? I know you kind of tried A-List blogging, you've done the kind of online tests and stuff like that. But when you joined these kind of like programs like A-List blogging, did you think, I've found my passion, or was it a process?
Well, the first part of it was going back to coaching school. So all arrows seem to be pointing to either counseling or coaching as something that was my natural skill set and something I'd be interested in. And I looked into both. Of course, as you know, as a counselor, it takes a lot more time to become, licensed. You have to be licensed to be a counselor here in the States, and I guess you do in the UK. And so coaching school was a certification program. It took me about a year to go through it. I really liked the model of helping people. And it wasn't until I became a coach, started working with people, and then got online trying to figure out how to market myself as a coach that I found a next tier of passion, which was the blogging. So it was like pulling a thread, and so one thing leads to another and another and another. And it's sort of a flower that opens up for you as you go down the path. You discover so many new things that are related to your passion that also bring you joy and satisfaction.
I think that's the big thing as well, because when I'm kind of teaching about it as well, I always say the best thing to do is just start to do and take action to do something. And usually the path that you go down, it kind of has got kind of branches off that path, and that's where you kind of find your true passion. So you've been kind of lucky in a way because you found coaching as you're very passionate about. You've got the writing that you're very passionate about as well, which kind of incorporates the blogging and things like that as well. But then I guess the next step would be, okay, how do you monetize? Obviously, we know how to monetize coaching, but how do you monetize what you do online? And how did you learn all that? Because that's a big kind of arena to go into.
Yeah. Well, of course, A-List blogging, this course that we took, Mary Jock and Leo Babauta were very good about instructing us how to do it. And at that time, I remember Leo had 1 million, or was it 1 million? Or maybe it was 500,000 followers. It was a lot. And that was super impressive, and he was making money and they were doing well with this. So it was very inspirational. And I tried to follow his model. Now, Leo at the beginning and still is not a marketer. He does not like to market at all. And so I had to sort of along the way figure out what my own comfort level was with all of that, what felt right to me. But ultimately, I kind of like marketing. I like to do honest marketing and marketing that where I know I'm providing good value. And I think that is the number one thing for people when they get started is if you're providing great value and giving great content and really serving people, you're going to have a winner on your hands. And then the rest of it is just sort of figuring out the nuts and bolts of how to spread the word. And there are a lot of nuts and bolts, but the foundation is providing that value.
And that's you mentioned something there as well that I think is key, and it's about being did you say honest marketing?
Yes.
So I kind of call that authentic marketing, and it's just really kind of marketing from the heart. You're just being yourself, and you're just being genuine and very authentic, and that comes across, or your energy comes across when you're doing videos. Even when you're writing, that energy still comes across. So you found that you kind of almost stumbled upon, or did you make a conscious decision just to say, I don't like that style of marketing, but I like the honest kind of marketing?
It was both conscious and organic, because there were times when I would try the more aggressive salesy approach and I'd hear back from my readers, who's this person? This doesn't sound like you. So you hear so much from different marketers, and I know you've read tons and studied and researched, and, so you try different approaches, and testing is a big part of it because we're not mind readers. We don't know exactly what our audience wants. But I think authenticity always wins. If you're going to have to choose one way or another, be yourself, because people are going to be attracted to that. And as the saying goes, you really only need 1,000 true fans, right, to build a business. Yeah. And if you can find 1,000 people who like who you are, who like what you have to say and the way you say it, you're going to be okay.
So did you find your kind of 1,000 people, so to speak, from the blog? I guess it's not from coaching, because that's a different kind of business model altogether. But so from the blog, you found your 1,000 kind of true fans?
I did, from my blog, and also from social media, from Facebook, that, what I've learned from you. Yes, now my fan base has grown. Also from having my email list. I think, that's a really important way. And of course, that's the bread and butter of your business. Yep. Is having that email list. So you can really interact more closely with the people that you are writing emails to. But it started with my blog. I started by just writing and giving tons and offering tons of free information, and I did that until I had a couple thousand subscribers. Mm-hmm. And then as that built up, it was easier and better to go ahead and start marketing to them a little bit, offering courses, offering products, and that sort of thing.
So there's really a couple of things you said there as well. Email, extremely important. Really important. That's what we always kind of teach in the Your Digital Formula program. And you've kind of looked at your blog and you kind of build that up, and that's how you got your kind of 1,000 true fans as well. And you also talked about social media. Now, obviously, the YDF program, that really is using Facebook as a platform. So that didn't really come until later on for you. Yeah. How did you find it then when you kind of made the transition from kind of blogging and email kind of marketing to kind of social media? How did you find the transition?
Well, I was on social media the whole time. I knew from the get-go that was important. But to be honest, I didn't like social media very much. At first, it felt, I don't know, it felt false to me. And I mean, I'm just being honest about it. At the time, it was because, I mean, I'm 57. I got started in this when I was 50. So the whole social media thing felt like, oh, that's what my kids do, and embarrassingly, I was sort of like behind the times with it. So, but now I see it as a super important tool. And if you're not on it, you're just going to miss it. You've got to have it to be successful in business. So it was for me a matter of getting more focused and scaling up with social media and being more intentional about it, as opposed to being like, oh yeah, let me mention that I just posted a blog, getting more engaged with people. And the other aspect of that is that my business partner, Ron, and my life partner, we've been focusing on organic traffic through SEO. So, when you're sort of myopically focused on one thing, sometimes you neglect something else. So you really lit a fire under me when I saw what you were doing, getting your million likes. Now you're at 3 million, but at the time you had 1 million, and it's like, dang, I'm missing something. I need to get on this. So I went from, just a few thousand likes to now 143,000, and I'd be doing even better with that over the last 3 or 4 months. I haven't focused on it as much. So it's definitely made a huge impact. Brilliant. And it's increased my traffic onto my blog by about 30%. So that's huge.
By 30%?
By 30%.
So I guess from the 30% that you've got from Facebook as well, because it's increased that, I guess your email subscribers have gone up as well.
Sorry, the Facebook alone.
That's Facebook alone? Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So that's increased your subscriber numbers as well, I guess.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's another thing we kind of teach as well. Use Facebook as well as a kind of tool to get traffic over to your blog, but use it to give great content, but also to build up your email kind of subscriber list.
Yes, absolutely. And the things that you've taught me about boosting posts and building engagement, all of that has been, super helpful in building my business, because it all drives traffic back to the post and the things that are creating funnels for people to get on my email list. So, and that's where the bread and butter is for me.
And that's one thing it's just going to be a bit more kind of technical. So, and that was up from a couple of thousand to 143,000. Yeah. So you're driving traffic over there. Are you specifically targeting? You've got 14 books and you've got programs out as well. So do you target specific posts and have specific pop-ups or specific?
Yes.
Is that how you do it?
Yes, we organically pick topics that we know people are interested in. We do a lot of SEO research to see what keywords people are looking up and what our competition is. So we determine what we're going to write about based on what people are looking for and where we're going to find traffic. So for example, we found that the topic of emotional abuse was really hot. So I wrote a post, 30 signs of emotional abuse. Well, that post is blown up. And from that post, as a result, we decided, let's create a course, let's write some books, and we use that post as sort of a landing page to drive people from Facebook to the post using image post or just promoting the post itself, and then we capture them with a pop-up or we have a quiz and we have some free gifts, and when they either take the quiz or get the gift, they're on our list, and then we can sell them the books or sell them the course. And that one course alone, I think it's made us $50,000 or $60,000 in the last year. So it has been really, it's been a really great strategy.
That is a brilliant strategy, and it is again something that I see a lot of kind of marketers doing, and using the blog specifically, but using individual blog posts to find out where the traffic is going and just to gauge the interest in a particular topic. And You've done that perfectly. But one thing I wanted to ask, because a lot of people might not know this, how do you do SEO research? How do you do it? Obviously, there's tools and stuff like that, but how do you and Ron do it?
Yeah, so I'll be honest and say that Ron is more the SEO expert, and we divide and conquer, and he does most of that. But I'll give you sort of my brief overview from my limited knowledge base.
Okay.
So we will go on a tool called Word Tracker to begin with, and it's sort of like Google keyword tool.
Yep.
And you type in the keyword or the keyword phrase, and it gives you a really nice long list of options of keywords. And so we take a look at which ones have a lot of traffic, and then on the sidebar of that, they show you the various posts and people who are your competition. Mm-hmm. And so we'll go on to Google and look at what different posts are coming up for those keywords, and we can determine which ones we can sort of knock off. So we can say, oh, they don't have this optimized quite correctly. They don't have the right keywords in their description, or they're using ellipses at the end of their description, or we're a bigger site. So if we think that we can get on page one, then we're all over that particular post, that particular set of keywords, and we write a post about it.
Right. No, carry on, sorry.
Yeah, so within the post itself, we make sure that we have the keywords in the title, in the H2 tag, the sort of the transition sentence where you say, here's where you can learn more, 10 ways to, prevent emotional abuse. And that's the H2 tag there. Yeah. And then we put other tags within the body of the post. I think there's more that Ron does to optimize the post for SEO, but sorry, I can't articulate all of it.
No, well, I'm guessing you're using some kind of plugin like Yoast or something like that for SEO. Yeah. Yes. Sure. Which is a brilliant plugin. And what I'll do, just for anybody kind of watching this as well, I'll put links down below what Barry's talking about, like Word Tracker, Yoast plugin and stuff like that as well. Yes. But the thing is, what you've done there is I guess you're looking for kind of keywords that you're interested in, because obviously you wouldn't just pick any keyword and just say, well, we could knock that off number one spot.
No. It's all within my niche, all in the self-improvement niche. Yeah, so I wouldn't be like writing a post about, how to grow a garden. That's not in my niche. But anything that's related to my niche, now there's some things that I avoid within my niche just because I don't want to write about them, like religion, for example. But anything that's, that sort of fits into my general genre, I'll write about.
That's brilliant. And I love the way you obviously, you and Ron look at this, and you're a kind of team to do this as well, and you've got that kind of support network almost as well. And I guess that's what kind of YDF gives you as well with regards to the Facebook stuff. It's that kind of support network that you had in there as well, which is a good thing.
It's a great thing. In fact, we were talking before we came on live about how that's sort of been a model for my business, because I know what my weaknesses are. I'm a content creator. I'm a right-brained, self-help person that wants to help other people and create things. And I'm not really into all of the nuts and bolts of it. And I think a lot of people who are in our space feel that way. They feel intimidated by technology and they feel intimidated by all the research. Now, I've made myself do a lot of it, and I can do it, but it's not my comfort zone. And so one of the things I think I've been good at over the years is finding people who can complement my skills. And just like several years ago, I partnered with Leo Babauta on doing a course on habits. And the skills that he brought were some of the technological skills, but also he had a huge audience. Yep. So I did all of the work on creating, a lot of the work on creating the course, and he did the marketing and, putting it all together. So when you can find people who can support you, complement your skills, and partner with them, I think it not only helps your business and helps your business grow, but it's really fun, and it gives you a boost of energy and passion and enthusiasm, and you learn a lot.
I think that's the thing as well. From Leo Babauta specifically, you'd learn a hell of a lot from Leo. And for anybody who doesn't know, Leo, he's not so much he's more a kind of an author now, because he's got a couple of book deals and stuff like that as well, and he's done brilliant. But we'd kind of known Leo for a while now as well. But his kind of style, he didn't do the marketing side of it. So you've obviously we took the A-list blogging, and we knew through Mary Jacks that he didn't really like the marketing, but we knew ourselves we kind of had to do the marketing. So you've done that and you've learned that, but the partnership thing is a really, really important thing as well. So how do you find people that complement what you're doing?
A variety of ways. So, don't isolate yourself. That's an important thing. It's very easy to get isolated when you're in this business and you're working behind your computer and writing and doing stuff. So join groups like yours and get involved in courses where you can meet other people and interact. I think your program is an excellent place for people to connect, get to know each other, because you're in similar spaces, you're all searching for the same kind of thing, but they're going to be people at different levels. Yeah. And you're going to find people within the group who can fill in the blanks of the places where maybe you're lacking a little bit. I started with something called the Daily Brainstorm. I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember that, yeah.
Back in the day. This was sort of an aggregated site that somebody asked me to be the editor for, and it was a lot of free work that I was doing. But it put me in contact. I was in charge of getting a variety of bloggers to submit articles for this site. So I got into contact with people like Chris Gillibu and Leo and a lot of big name bloggers, because that was my job, to reach out to them. And so I made some really great connections early on. So I gave away a lot of time and energy in order to sort of build my credibility and build my exposure to some of these bigger people. And it's really a great strategy to go to somebody and say, hey, I see you're really busy. You must be doing a lot of stuff. I see you're big. How can I help you? And do it in a legitimate way. You don't want to use somebody, but it's a great way to learn and to grow your business.
Something we were kind of on a live show was kind of watching. I think it was Maria Flynn's One Wise Life that we were kind of watching. She was talking about she'd given away a lot of her free time, but there's no immediate benefit to that apart from kind of reaching out and getting to know somebody like Leo and Chris, and getting to know them is a brilliant kind of way as well. But the long-term kind of strategy is much better from that respect as well, because you're getting yourself known as well.
Absolutely. So another great example of this was I was working on another course about habits and interviewing people for the course. And I interviewed this guy named Steve Scott, who has a site called Develop Good Habits. Yeah. And so we did the interview, and I didn't really know Steve at the time. And afterward, he was telling me about his book business and how he had written 50 or 60 books. And his last book had made him, he said these words, "It made me $50,000 in a week." And I said, "What? $50,000 in a week?" That's what I was hoping to make in a year at that point. And he started telling me about how he's written all these books and he's just continuing to build up his catalog of books. And he makes, just from his books alone, about $300,000 a year. So it blew my mind. Yeah. So I immediately glommed onto him and said, how can I help you? Because I had more subscribers than he did. How can I help you? And teach me how to do this. And so we ended up supporting one another in our efforts. And then eventually we become partners in teaching how to do self-publishing. And I've written a lot of books. We've written books together, and they're doing great. So his expertise supported me, my expertise supported him, and it was a win for both of us.
And it's a win-win, and that's really extremely important as well. Always think about the win-win. which is, even when you're kind of doing a Facebook page, for example, as well, always think about your customer, always think about the viewer or the reader, and make it a kind of win-win for them. So you're giving great content, for example, on Facebook. But going back to the business side of it, the self-publishing, which I'm really, really interested in, and a lot of viewers will be as well. So you decided, you partnered up with Steve Scott for the Habits program, but then you thought, okay, this is a good business model for the books. So where did you go from there?
I started writing books like mad.
Wow.
I did. He lit a fire under me, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to build this catalog, because in this business in general, having lots of streams of income is really the way to grow your business. As you know, you said you have 14 or 15 products. Yeah. And, so you're not going to have your big overnight sensation where you make $1 million. That's very rare. I mean, maybe there are some bloggers out there who are doing that, but most of us, we have to be plotters, and we have to keep going on and building. And it grows exponentially. So you get to a certain point where you have enough products, enough followers, enough email subscribers that you're going to start making a lot of money. But that happens down the road. I'm 7 years into it. You're 10 years into it. So we've put in our due diligence. And so with the books, it's the same thing. You want to build a catalog, because Amazon right now, with self-published authors, the average price of a Kindle book is about $2.99. Yep. So with one Kindle book, you're not going to make a fortune. But with 60 Kindle books, you can make a lot of money. And they don't have to be super long books. You can write a 20,000-word book that's super helpful, very genre-specific, niche-specific, where you're showing someone how to do something and really teaching them. And people are going to buy that, and they're willing to risk $2.99 on a book that they might think, oh, well, maybe I'll have to toss this out. Maybe it won't be any good. But if it is good, then they're going to buy your next one and your next one and your next one. So you're creating this whole catalog, and if you can do it around a specific niche with sort of subtopics under that niche, and you become the expert, that's really a great way to build your business.
So from the books then, have you seen other things happening? Like, have you been asked to speak anywhere? Have you been asked to kind of write for other people and things like that as well?
I have. Of course, this whole self-publishing course that we do, the authority.pub is the name of the blog we developed, and we did a podcast and a course all around that. So that developed as a result of sort of learning to be a self-published author. And then, yes, I've been on other programs and spoken on podcasts, and, you do become an expert in that arena, just as you have probably become, the go-to person for Facebook.
Yeah. Which is amazing when you think about it, but because I always find when I'm kind of creating content or creating products that you're kind of learning along the way. So you don't feel an expert at the very beginning, but as you research and do all the more kind of work on it, you then suddenly become one of the go-to people for that.
Yes.
Just like you and Steve Scott for self-publishing as well.
Right.
What I'm interested in as well with the Kindle, do you just do it in Kindle, or do you make a kind of physical copy on CreateSpace as well?
Yes. So even within the book creation process, you can have multiple streams. So you can create a Kindle book, a print book, an Audible book. You can do multiple languages and get foreign rights. Wow. So there are a lot of different ways to make money just through publishing your own book. And you can use your book as a platform for being a speaker, for being a coach. There's one woman that we work with who writes about divorce, and she takes her books about how to manage after divorce, and she brands them for specific divorce attorneys. So the back of the book, she'll say, Mr. Divorce Attorney, would you like the back of this book branded? And he'll buy a quantity. He'll buy, 1,000, 2,000 books for his clients and hand those out as gifts. So it's really there's so many ways you can expand your way of marketing your book and make money from it.
That's excellent. One thing I was concerned about, because I've done a couple of books and it was just experiments on kind of Amazon Kindle. I've done the CreateSpace as well. So I think I got about 5 books or something. But I was back in 2009, just to experiment. I was from a blog post, like 100 ways to develop your mind. But I was really, really surprised that went on to make about $5,000. I'm going, holy shit. And I didn't get into it even more because I got into kind of other products, but I seen the potential. But the one thing, and I don't know how you get around this, Barry, is you can't collect anybody's email address or anything like that.
Yes, you can.
Oh, you can now?
Yes.
So it's changed. So
So what we do with the Kindle books is at the very beginning of the book, we have a lead magnet. And we say, thank you so much for purchasing this book, as a way of saying thank you. Please download our 500 resources for developing your habits. Let's say the book is about habits. So you want the lead magnet to relate to whatever you're writing about. Uh-huh. And you put that right up in the front so that even people who are just browsing and they can click on, look at this more, they sign up. So you can develop your list, a funnel directly related to whatever your topic is, and then you keep selling those people books.
That's fantastic. Because that was the one thing that I couldn't get my head around at the beginning, and you've just kind of blown that out of the water. So that's a brilliant strategy for doing that.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, if people are interested in sort of some, like, just the outline of how to do this, we have a free guide. It's like 40 tips on how to self-publish your book. And it's a paragraph or two for each tip. If you go to authority.pub, you can find that free download. And it tells you all of these little tricks. So it's well worth, if you think you want to self-publish books, that's a great place to start.
That is excellent, because I'm actually coaching a few people that are doing kind of their own books. I've been teaching about the marketing side of it. And it was the one thing I didn't actually realize you could do. So I guess you can't directly kind of get emails of the buyers, but you can indirectly.
Yes.
Do you know roughly what the conversion rate is? Do you have any figures?
It depends on the lead magnet. So, you have to find, I've been writing about mindfulness, and I gave a lead magnet of mindfulness meditations that I'd created. For some reason, it's not performing. So we went back, we considered a variety of different other tools that we might offer. We named them. And I did a survey, both of my readers, and then on Facebook, I created a survey, which is super helpful because I can go into our Facebook group for the Authority Self-Publishing and ask all of these people and say, what do you think you would be more likely to click on? Excellent. So doing that research really helps.
And I think getting a survey from people that are interested, because you've got 143,000 followers now, I guess it's easier to get more survey respondents or responses from them as well. So when you're doing that, you're obviously building up. You don't have to do your own. You still have to do the research for it, but people are giving you the kind of answers that you'd be looking for that would take you a while to look for.
Absolutely. And just to add to that quickly, one of the great things I learned on Facebook is creating Facebook groups that are related to your courses and products. So if you have a group, like I have an emotional abuse group, and I have this course and these books, and they are the on-the-ground people that can give me feedback and information. I'll say, I'm thinking of writing a book about this. What do you think? No, we're not interested in that. Or I want to title the book this. What do you think of that? Well, that one, that causes too much pain when I read it. So use this word instead. And that has been, it's like having your own, what's the group I'm thinking of? You're not a survey group, but anyway, a response group, right?
Exactly what I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that can help you make decisions about things. We have an Authority Self-Publishing group. So when we get ready to publish a book, we want to check out a title or a cover, we run a survey. And so you get great feedback from the people who really are your audience.
So with the groups then, are you managing the groups yourself, or have you got somebody else to manage the groups?
Well, I'm the admin, but I do have people within the groups that are, monitors. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, the admins or the moderators.
Monitor. Yeah. And so they will help me if there's a problem. They'll shoot me a Facebook message. It does take a lot of time. There's no question. But sometimes once the groups get big, they sort of run themselves. Once you get several thousand members in a group, you don't have to be quite as active because people are interacting with each other. So I'll come in and put up a blog post or put up a quote or do something that, shows that I'm there on occasion, but I don't have to do it every single day.
But the beautiful thing about creating groups, and again, this is something we've kind of spoken about as well, and the beautiful thing about creating groups, because you're the admin of the group, when you put a blog post link in there, you're going to get much more traffic than if you were just a member of a group that you weren't the admin of. You get a lot more traffic because you get higher up in the reach, which is why Facebook groups are going to be so kind of important. And I've said that for 2017, Facebook groups is a must. So you've got several groups. How many groups do you know exactly? How many groups have you got?
3.
3 groups. And do you know the size, the kind of rough size of them?
They're all about 6,000 or 7,000.
Which is a good number as well. Yeah. So you're going to get a lot of responses when you're doing the surveys and things like that as well.
Yes, I do. Yeah, it really is super helpful. It is. I wouldn't do anything now without testing first, without getting feedback and testing from my audience, because you wouldn't believe how many times we've been surprised at thinking this is the way we should do it. And the feedback says, do it this way. So, it's covered our butts. It's helped us make a good decision.
And do you always listen to the feedback? Obviously you listen, but do you always kind of take on board and just go with the feedback, go with the flow?
Well, if it's really strong feedback, if it's sort of, 60% to 40%, maybe not as much, but yes, if it's really strong feedback and it's the people who are directly impacted by what I'm trying to produce. You can also get great sales copy from the responses that you get from surveys and from feedback. Mm-hmm. You're using the exact words and phrases that resonate with people, as opposed to your own sort of language that you're using that's typical for whatever your niche is. Use the language of the people who are actually being impacted.
And that's another good strategy as well that I've used really well in the past, is just to use a Google Docs. It's not Google Docs, it's Google Forms. And you just create your own survey and you can put it on Facebook, but you're getting the language that you can use in the copywriting for your sales page, for that book or whatever as well, which is, it's just priceless, that kind of information, just to use the language of the people that are kind of sending you responses.
And here's an idea for a lead magnet using a Facebook group. I asked the people in my emotional abuse Facebook group to write one piece of advice that they would give people who are in an emotionally abusive situation. So I got, 100 responses, and I created a little ebook of those responses that's advice from emotional abuse survivors. And that didn't take it. I created it on Canva. All of the copy was right there. I didn't have to write a thing, except maybe an intro and an extra paragraph, and put some links in there. And there I had this great lead magnet.
That is fun. I love that. That is brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, you could do that in your YDF. Am I saying it right? YDF?
Yeah, YDF, yeah.
Okay. Group. I always get the letters mixed up. Asking for one piece of business advice, or one thing you've learned from this group. It's a great, people want to see, what are other people learning? What's your biggest success story?
That is a fantastic thing. Usually kind of what I do, there's loads of ways you can create lead magnets, but I love to use kind of blog posts as well, or list posts is really good as well, or kind of just a report, a 10 kind of point report as well, or a checklist almost as well.
One of my most popular lead magnets are quizzes. The emotional abuse quiz, the relationship quiz, the confidence quiz. People love to take quizzes, and then you send them some feedback after on what the results are.
So with the quizzes, I know they're big as well, and there's a book, Ryan Levesque was talking about, he's big on that as well. Yeah. What do you use for the quiz then to kind of do the quizzes? Because obviously there's lots of software out there. Oh, is this Ron's thing?
It is. Sorry. I can run ask him.
No, what to do is we'll get the links after and we'll put them down below. I was just interested because I've used lots of different ones as well. I was just interested, but I think the kind of viewers will be really interested in that as well.
Yeah, I do know that when we first do a quiz, as opposed to investing money and doing one that's, you can tick it off and it automatically calculates, we do just sort of a PDF quiz to see if there's enough interest to merit spending the time and money with it. Does that make sense?
It does. So you're just gauging the interest first before. So do you pay for individual quizzes to get them made up? Or...
We have paid for that to have it designed nicely or to look, better than what I can do on Canva.
And then when somebody takes a quiz, they'll just say, fill in your name and email address and we'll send you out the details.
Correct.
Excellent. Love that.
Yeah.
And I think quizzes are a huge thing. And I have to admit, Barry, that I got a lot of quizzes on my blog, not collecting email addresses, but there's a lot of quizzes that kind of makes money in other ways. I think one of the quizzes had made $8,000 just from one post, and I didn't create it.
Was that from AdSense?
It's from AdSense, yeah.
Right.
So that's why I've got a lot of quizzes, but there's a lot of good content as well. We've got kind of guest writers, but that's one way of doing kind of blogging if you don't have a lot of time to write as well. But you kind of know that as well. It's just another strategy for using quizzes. But there's one person I know kind of doing a law of attraction quiz as well, and he's really built up an email of about 50, 60,000 just from that one quiz, and he's kind of made a business from that as well. So your strategy is working, and Ryan Levesque, he kind of talks about it all the time as well, which is brilliant. Yeah, and there's a lot of people doing that. We've got Dean Graziosi doing it, we've got Brenda Bouchard doing it, so it's just like you offer a physical book for free for shipping and handling, and then you've got on the back end of it, you've got your upsells from there.
Right. And throughout the book, he links to for more information, go to this link. And, it's all throughout his book. So he's very clever in the way he directs you back to his site and to his products.
Which is excellent. So with your funnels there, I just want to kind of briefly touch on, because I just love talking about anything like this, but the funnels that you've got then, are your funnels mainly coming from your blog posts? Are they coming from Facebook? Are you getting people into your funnels? Or are you just doing it all kind of ways?
A little of everything.
Right.
But I would say the blog is the main place, because people rarely land on my homepage on my blog. They're coming in through a Google search for the most part on a particular topic, and then they'll get a pop-up or something within the post that invites them to a free lead magnet. So that's the main way. But then with Facebook, I'm also promoting some of these free products directly, or promoting a post that will have a pop-up, or running page post ads. We've tried virtually everything you've taught. We've thrown it all against the wall. So, but I always boost my posts. There's no question about that, especially, and spend more money on the posts where I know we have a funnel and a course and a product that develops afterward.
Which is a great strategy. And again, something we kind of teach as well, because just to let the viewers know as well, when you've got a blog post that does well organically, then obviously that's when you kind of boost it, unless you're kind of boosting it for a specific reason, but that's when you boost it if it does well organically, and you get much cheaper clicks.
Yes,
now,
you do.
When you
2 to 3 cents for us.
It's about 3 cents.
2 to 3.
2 to 3. That's what I was going to suggest, because I was going to ask obviously you might not know the full conversion numbers, but how much it's costing you to boost, and it is really, really cheap to boost a good kind of blog post that does well organically.
Yeah, and even if somebody doesn't hang out right away, they're going to come back. You've given them exposure to your site, and if they like what you're doing, if they see you again on Facebook, they're going to come back.
And that's what it's about, getting to know, like, and trust you, because I think I don't know how true this is nowadays, Barry, but people say you have to have 7 touch points before somebody's going to kind of buy from you. I don't know how true that is, or if we could verify that or not, but it's always been that kind of number. It's going to be 7 times before somebody sees you, or less, until they buy from you.
So we do that with emails as well. When we are promoting a program or a course, we'll give 7 or 8 emails that are valuable information, whether it's a checklist or a post or an idea or suggestion or whatever. And we don't even ask for the sell until we get to that 8th email. So you're touching them a lot and giving them a lot of value before you even expose them to the product that you're trying to sell them.
Excellent. So even when you get a new sign up for a checklist or whatever it is, you're not selling straight away. Are you putting any links at all in your emails to your product, or is it just totally content?
Well, it's content, or it might be a link to a PDF download or something of value before we hit them up for making the purchase.
Excellent.
Now, the only exception to that is we do a lot of flash sales. So if we're going to do a flash sale, it's all about the sale. And we say, you've got 3 days, and there's scarcity built into that. So, but for the most part, if we're just sort of with a evergreen product, we take them through a sequence before we hit them up with the request.
Love that. Yeah. Now, just to kind of explain scarcity, can you explain scarcity what scarcity is for the viewer? Obviously, I know, but if you just explain that in kind of your words as well.
Yeah. So it's making people have a little bit of a sense of urgency to make a sale. And if you say, this price is only going to last for 3 days, or the doors are closing at midnight tonight, or, only today can you get this extra product if you buy our course, whatever the item or the close down or whatever it is you happen to be creating to create that scarcity. We always find that it's the day or two before we close the doors down that we get the most sales. Yep. So people need to feel that little bit of pressure to make the decision. Okay, am I going to do this, or am I not going to do this? And you want to give them a reason to believe that there really is scarcity. You don't want to say we're closing the doors and then you say, oh, we changed our mind. Yep. We're going to leave it open for another week. Then they lose your trust.
And that comes down to the kind of authentic marketing as well.
Correct. That's right. Yeah. But scarcity is a great way to boost your sales. There's no question about it.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, because we are closing the YDF program down to new members at the end of March, because what we've found when we've done the research as well, that because it's evergreen, people don't make the decision to join kind of there and then. They kind of read it and go, that looks brilliant, it looks amazing. But they think, okay, I'll buy it next week or a couple of weeks' time. But when you close something down, like you're saying with the scarcity there, then they've got to make that decision, yes or no, they're in. And this is when a lot of people say, yes, I'm definitely in. I don't want to wait 6 months, or I don't want to wait till there's another flash sale from you or something like that. So it's a brilliant strategy.
Yeah, and particularly with higher price programs like yours or like our Authority Self-Publishing program, I mean, they're higher price, they're great value, but, you know, a lot of people can't, you know, shelling out $500-600 for something is, they have to think about that.
Yeah.
You give them enough time to think, and then, you know, they're going to make an impulse buy. And if you give them at the end, when you present that scarcity, it's going to be kind of an impulse thing. But if you give them plenty of reason why it's a great decision and how it's going to help them, and if you give them a guarantee of some kind, that's super important as well.
What is your guarantee time, by the way?
It differs for different courses. So, for example, with the Authority Self-Publishing course, we have a 30-day guarantee, but we do ask that people, we have a 60-day guarantee with that one, but we ask people to send in examples of their work, because we don't want somebody to come in, you know, look at all the course materials, copy it, and then ask for a refund. And we've had plenty of that happen. We want serious students who really want to get into self-publishing, who want to learn the whole process, who want to be engaged in our Facebook group. And so we've tried to create a refund policy that's both fair to the purchaser and fair to us. With courses that are under $100 or programs that are under $100, we just offer a 30-day money-back, 100% guarantee.
Yeah, no questions asked, just give them a guarantee.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Because it's just something I've kind of wrestled with as well, about the kind of money-back guarantee. And I've done 60 days, but we're going down to 30 days. Again, more and more people like Amy Porterfield, yourself, Steve Scott, they're asking for proof before they actually get a refund, which I think is a good idea as well. I think that's brilliant. But in the past, I've always said, just give them a refund. You don't want to waste your energy trying to chase anybody up. But I think that proof idea is a brilliant way as well.
Yeah, because there are a lot of people out there who are just interested in, I hate to say it, but just interested in scraping your content and pulling what they want and then getting their money back. And it's taking advantage of you as a business person. So you have to find that balance. And certainly if somebody raised a huge scene and it really just felt like it was totally unfair, we're not gonna fall on our swords over that. We'll do what needs to be done, but it does sort of help filter out people who aren't serious.
No, that is good. I think that's a really good strategy as well, and something we're definitely going to be doing as well. And we thought about kind of 30-day full refund, then 50% refund within 60 days, and then you can't get it after 60 days. So I know it sounds like a small thing, but it's not. It's one of the big things you have to think about when you've got a kind of large kind of program like you've got with self-publishing.
Yes, absolutely. And if you have affiliates involved in your program and you are thinking, okay, now I've made this much money, and then suddenly someone says, oh, I want my $600 or $1,000 back, that's a pretty big chunk to, if you've already counted it in, to have to pull it back out.
Yes.
So
now, can we touch on, now you don't have to tell me kind of exact numbers, but can we touch, you've got obviously the books that you're kind of saying, you've got 14 kind of published books.
Right.
And the range, I guess, in kind of price range from 99 cents up to?
Well, so the 99-cent price is a promotional price. Yeah. So when we launch at 99 cents, or we might do, a sale at 99 cents to promote a book, or do something with a site called BookBub where they promote your book for you at a 99-cent price. But virtually all of my Kindle books are $2.99 or $3.99. My print books range in price from, I don't know, $7 to $11 maybe, depending on the size of the book. Mm-hmm. So does that answer?
No, it does. But I was just wondering as well. So obviously there's a percentage of that Amazon gives. I believe it's about 30%, or just depends on the pricing.
Right.
So it's about 30%. It's just to let the viewers can understand that there is a 30% cut goes to Amazon. But it's still very lucrative for you. I'm just wondering, is it mainly the books that is your business? Obviously the self-publishing course as well. There's a big part of it as well. So where is your kind of other income streams coming from as well, Barry?
Sure. Well, the courses, I would say, are the number one place I make my income, selling courses, the whole package of courses that we offer.
Yep.
Books is number 2, and that will continue to go up as I write more books. So I would imagine that over time books might outtake courses, depending on where I spend most of my focus. And then AdSense money. We just started with a new advertising program that you had to get to 1 million monthly readers, unique monthly readers, in order for these people to accept me. And now I can't remember the name of it. So I'm sorry. If you look at my site, you see it, but I can't remember the name of it. Ron put it on there. So that's another stream of advertising income. Affiliate products, coaching. I don't do any public speaking, but that's pretty much it. The advertising, affiliate products, coaching, courses, and books.
Wow. So you are a busy person.
Yeah.
Well, both of you are, obviously.
Both of us together, yeah. Yeah, and it's really worked out well this way. I mean, I looked into it. I didn't meet Ron knowing that he was a marketing person, but it worked out. So we've made a good team.
That's been brilliant. So can I ask then, projected for 2000, can I ask, you don't need to answer it, but can I ask how much you made in 2016 in gross sales?
Yeah, so I put this in my post on your site. We made about $240,000 in 2016, and we're projecting over 300 for 2017. Just if we make our monthly goals, that's where it's going to go. So I'm blown away by it, frankly, because I never thought I'd reach a 6-figure income with this business, and we've pushed past that ceiling.
And you mentioned something there, kind of just in passing there, to reach your monthly goals. How important are kind of doing, because we've got a kind of spreadsheet in the program as well about kind of monthly goals and just kind of documenting it all. How important is that for you, just to kind of document that?
I think it's super important because it keeps you focused on what you're doing and how you're going to reach those goals. So we look at every stream of income and we increase it a certain percentage over time, so we know we're building up. We know how traffic is growing and what the tendency for traffic has been. And we look at the number of people who are going to be coming to our site and the trends for the various programs and courses that we offer. And of course, the more traffic and the more people we have exposed to those, the more money we're going to make. We look at our goals related to the number of books we're going to have and the number of courses we're going to have. And so we just keep scaling it up year after year. Now, that also requires getting some additional help. We've recently hired a VA. This is the first time I've had a full-time VA. And we've just gotten to that point in our business that we need to have that help. So, and that's sort of a precarious place to be because you want to save all your money, but you also want to scale up and you only have X amount of hours in a day to do it all. But there comes a time, and you've reached that, I guess, obviously, that you do need to have support systems in place, and you do need to invest more money into your business to make it grow. So I don't know how many of your listeners are at that point right now, but the time will come. Don't hesitate to do it. Find good people to help you.
I think that's extremely important because I've done everything for the last 8 years myself before I actually hired anybody. And now we've got a team of 6, 7 people that can help me out as well, which is brilliant. It's really, really good as well, so you can get that help. But there's still many more people I could hire just now to help out, and I wished...
You've got an empire waiting to be built, Steve.
Yeah. Right. One, I know we've kind of taken up all your time, Barry, but I'd like to ask what you like about the YDF program. Obviously, you've joined YDF, and that's why you're a YDF star. What do you like about the YDF program itself and the group as well?
Yeah. Well, I'll start by saying that the whole reason that I was involved in it was you. Because, I mean, I trust you, and you are a giving person, and you're very generous with your time and with your resources and with your ideas. And as we talked about the heart-centered business and being authentic and all of that, you encapsulate that. You're a really good spokesperson for that kind of business. So you want to be involved in a group where you feel like you're getting good value for your money, and I knew that to be the case. Also, it has introduced me to a wide variety of new people that I've never met before, and the whole idea of sharing posts and sharing image posts and connecting with other people and building your business that way has been tremendous. And then I've just learned so much. Gosh, I wasn't really focused on Facebook, and now I feel so much more educated, so much more prepared to use Facebook as a tool to build my business than I ever did before. So, those are the main reasons for me. I would say anyone who is looking to build their online business should take your program or a program like this, because you do need to have that as a piece of the pie of all of your diversified areas of bringing in income and traffic. You can't ignore it.
And I think that's really key here as well. I'm not necessarily talking about my program, but investing in programs that are going to teach you the area or the skills that you don't necessarily have just now, but finding your tribe, kind of finding the right group of people, like the heart-centered entrepreneurs. And that group is amazing for that. I know when you put a post in the other day, I think you've had about 70 responses, and that's we've only got kind of 300 people in the program, because we don't let anybody in. There's only people that bought the program.
Right.
And you got 70 responses. So you've got over 35%. Kind of was kind of more than just slightly less than that, but which is brilliant as well. You can get that support network.
Yes. There are so many programs out there, or courses. You take it, you buy it, and then you're sort of off on your own.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're just floundering. You don't know what you're doing. That's why I think a program like yours is so important, because you do have access to the people who know what they're doing and who will help you along the way. And you get feedback, and you can ask questions and actually get an answer to the questions. You're not left dangling.
Yeah.
And
usually within a couple of minutes as well, somebody will kind of respond to you within a couple of minutes.
And you're on there every day with your Facebook Lives, and you're engaged in doing things, and that makes a huge difference. People feel like, even if you really and truly don't have the time to be there, it feels like you do. You should get up at 4:30 in the morning. So
no, that's brilliant. I'm really glad you kind of love the program as well.
Yeah.
One thing before we go, or maybe a couple of things, what kind of pieces of advice, knowing your journey from 2010 onwards, what kind of pieces of advice would you give somebody that kind of knows they want to do this, maybe not necessarily self-publishing, but start a business online? What advice would you give to them?
Okay. Well, the main piece of advice always is to continue to give great value and serve the reader.
Yep.
Find out what your followers and your tribe want and give it to them, even if it's something that, you may not think that's what they want. Provide it, and provide a service and give them more than they expect. Yep. That's the foundation for everything. Be patient, because it takes time. You're not going to be an overnight success. Yep. We all want that. We all want to make, the fast bucks and make it happen quickly, but it takes time, and you're going to have to plod along, and there'll be times when you think, oh, this is never going to work out, and what am I doing wrong? Find mentors that you trust, like you, Steve. There's so much information out there, but find people that you trust and where there's proof in the pudding. You have 3 million Facebook likes. You're going to be a better spokesperson for how to build a Facebook group than somebody who doesn't have 3 million likes. You might know everything there is to know, but you've proved it. So find people that you can trust that can be your mentors, and diversify. That would be the last thing. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Have the courses, write some books, get into affiliate marketing, teach different kinds of things, learn a skill and teach that. There's so many different ways that you can bring income in. I mean, Pat Flynn is a great example of that. With Smart, he's the blogger at Smart Passive Income, and he has so many different funnels. He publishes his income reports.
Monthly reports.
All the time. So take a look at those and see all the different places where he's getting money coming in. He's not an overnight sensation that just made it with one huge program. He's doing a lot of different things. Yes. So you do have to be sort of a jack of all trades.
Barry, this has been a brilliant interview. Can I get some links from you? What would be your kind of best? Because everybody, I would imagine, would want to know, okay, what is self-publishing? Can I find out more about it? So what's your self-publishing?
Yes, that's authority.pub. And you can get that free download I mentioned there. There are tons of articles and podcasts that give everything you need to know about how to self-publish and market and write and promote your books and make money with it. And then my site is liveboldandbloom.com. And all of my courses and materials you can find them from liveboldandbloom.com.
And you've also got the coaching at barrydavenport.com as well.
Yes, I do. So anybody who wants to be coached, go there.
And what we'll put links down below for everybody, just to all the links that we kind of mentioned, Word Tracker, and kind of everything else, and the stuff that Barry and kind of Ron and Steve has got as well. We'll put links to that as well. But Barry, thank you so much for being the first YDF star.
I am so honored. That's great.
It's
Thanks
brilliant.
for having me.
You've been an amazing, amazing guest. So thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Hi everybody, welcome back. What a brilliant interview that was, wasn't it? And that was for our very first YDF star. That's for all the members of kind of yourdigitalformula.com. And we kind of choose a member, and we're going to choose a member each week. I'm going on holiday next week, so we won't be doing it for a couple of weeks, but I wanted to get the very first one in to give you a flavour of the type of people that are in the YDF programme. Barry Davenport, that was just an amazing interview, and we've got hundreds of people like that in the YDF programme as well. They're just kind of making it. They're making a business, they're creating a business for themselves, and they're using what they've learned in the YDF programme at yourdigitalformula.com. They're using that to kind of build up that business as well. And I think it's a great model that Barry's got. And one sage piece of advice there that she gave was to have multiple streams of income. And that's something I've kind of learned along the years as well. And I've got, I don't know how many multiples I've got. I've got about 10 different income streams coming in. And it can be tough kind of looking at after all of them, but it's a brilliant kind of business model to look at, because if one part of the business goes down, then you can focus on another part of the business. So I thought that was great advice. And just to let you know, we've got our last live training coming up on Thursday. So if you want to be a yourdigitalformula.com member, you're only going to be able to get in before the 29th of March, because we're closing it to new members. We're going to be adding more content, but we're closing it to new members. So if you want to get into the live training we've got on Thursday, we've got at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to be up to about 2 o'clock in the morning my time just to deliver this training for you. It's going to be fantastic, so I'd love to see you there as well. And remember, it's going to be the last chance you get to get into the YDF program. And you can see how beneficial it is with Barry's kind of interview there. Obviously, you still have to work hard and build up your business, but you can use what you learn in YDF to build up that business even more. I'm just going to look at some of the comments just before I go just now. Kim Hamilton, thank you, Stephen, for sharing Barry with us. She's amazing, and so you. Thank you very much, Kim. I really appreciate that. Charlotte Hilding, great interview, Stephen and Barry. Thank you very much, Charlotte. I'm going to pass this on. I didn't even let Barry know I was doing this live, because I just decided at the last minute. I was going to show it first and then put it up. I thought, no, I'll put it up just now. Kim Hamilton, I trust Stephen so much. He is so real, and I feel like I've known him for years and never even met him yet being the operative word there, Kim. Oh, I want to show you something I got through the post. I hope Soul Phoenix is still watching just now. Soul Phoenix is a kind of YDF member just now. I don't know if he's in just now. I think he's gone away, but he got a kind of thing in a post the other day, and he's seen one of my lives where I said I didn't really like people, and he kind of sent this pen over. I don't know if you can see it, if that's kind of shown or not. Is it the right way around? Yeah, it is shown. So I just thought I just got that in a post just now, so if you're still watching, and thanks for the little note as well, which is great. So I seen you and kind of Shan kind of looked at each other and said Stephen Aitchison, so I just thought I'd show you that just now, just before I went. So I hope you enjoyed that interview. We're going to be doing more YDF stars, and we're going to be writing to more people. So if you're in a YDF, kind of a YDF tribe member, look out for a kind of invitation to do a kind of an interview, and we'll show it live like this as well. Because I think these have got, oh, So is in, I've just seen him. Yeah, so I just got your pen and your note. Thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate that. It made me smile. But I don't fucking hate people. I just don't like them in general. But I like all our YDF tribe members and everybody that comes onto this programme. But thanks for that. Give me a wee chuckle. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to leave you there just now. Hopefully that's given you some things to think about. I'm going to put some more links. There's links above this video about what Barry was talking about. And I'll put a link for the last live training that we've got on Thursday, the 23rd of March, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But until tomorrow, have a brilliant day, whatever you're doing, and I'll speak to you very soon. Namaste. Take care. Bye now.